Namaskar friends, this is NJ, your host on this channel. So as you guys know that we are heading very close towards the birth celebration of the planet Saturn as per the Hindu lunar calendar, Vaishak new moon, which is celebrated as the birth anniversary of the planet Saturn. So come every Saturday I only consider or think about uploading some video on the planet Saturn only. So guys, just because my channel has been active for such a long span of time, we already have had our discussion on Saturn's placement in different zodiac sign, in different houses, in the D1 chart, in the D9 chart, even in the D10 chart. So now definitely I'm thinking about adding some more layers to our research on the energies and the functioning of the planet Saturn. So the topic which we initiated last week, where we tried to understand, the whole video was divided in two parts. The very first part was about understanding the role of Saturn as per your ascendant, and in the second part we try to understand that if Saturn is going to be giving its aspect to any of your planets, be it Sun, Moon, Mars, how the results are going to be experienced. So guys, in this video we will try to add some more layers to it, and we will try to understand that these different aspects of the planet Saturn, when they happen in different houses in your natal chart, how the results vary. So definitely guys, I might be completely wrong in my approach. So just because it's a research platform, we all learn from each other. So you do not have to forcefully agree with me. If you find my observation completely in contradiction, whatever is happening in your life, or whatever you have found to be actually happening in the charts of people you know, please feel free to contradict me in the comment section. I will definitely and highly appreciate that. So now guys, in this video what we will try to do is that, see, Saturn's straight aspect is never that much complicated to decode, nor is Saturn's placement in different houses. I'm very much sure whether in the Google or any basic book on astrology can give you information on that. But when we talk about the additional aspect of the planet Saturn, specifically the third aspect and the 10th aspect, over there guys, like the way I always say this thing, that no one would have experienced Saturn as stronger as I'm experiencing right now. Imagine, right now I'm going through the Saturn Sardasati. Saturn is transiting right over my natal moon, being in the Aquarius, and also in the Dasha as well. I am in Saturn Mahadasha and the Moon Antardasha. So that means definitely Saturn has got a very strong say in my life, and only ever since I started actually living life as per the principles of the planet Saturn, there is some sort of relief in my life. Now the point which I was focusing on is that in this video we will be focusing on the additional aspect of the planet Saturn. Beyond any doubt, when we talk about the third aspect of the planet Saturn, so it is always an aspect of struggle, of disappointment, and this is the kind of aspect which in a way creates majority of the hurdles in the lives of the people. And when we talk about the 10th aspect of the planet Saturn, so somehow if you have passed the test and trial created by the planet Saturn in your life, this aspect in whichever house it is going to be falling in your chart, somehow it holds this capacity to give you status, power, recognition, all that recognition which is earned through hard works. So guys, definitely in this video we will try to understand that definitely wherever Saturn is going to be placed in your chart, it must be giving its third aspect to certain house, it must be giving its 10th aspect to some house. So in this video we will take all the probable outcome and alignments. We will start taking individually that, okay, on your first house, if Saturn is going to be giving its third aspect from the 11th, what kind of results you can experience. If definitely Saturn is going to be giving its 10th aspect to your first house, it must be placed in your 4th house, how the result is going to vary. So guys, you have to look at it in two ways. Definitely you will see it from the point of view that the house which is going to be receiving the third aspect and the 10th aspect of the planet Saturn, but over and above that, see, understand this thing. Saturn is responsible for our actions, for our duties, for our karma, in short. So it hardly matters that whether Saturn is ruling your 10th house or not, it will still have a say. So it's not like that for the Aries Lagna, just because Saturn has got a rulership over the 10th house, or for the Taurus Lagna, Saturn has got a rulership over the 10th house, so only it is going to have a major say. Like for example, the Gemini Lagna, it's only the 10th Lord planet Jupiter is going to be kind of replacing the role of Saturn in their life. Or for the Cancer Lagna, 10th Lord planet Mars is going to be replacing the role of the planet Saturn. So again guys, individually Karaka of your profession, of your action, will always be the planet Saturn. So in this video, what we will try to do is that we will understand this thing, that basis the 10th aspect of the planet Saturn, wheresoever it is going to be falling in your chart, in whichever house, somehow in your life, if only you will inculcate those practices, or you will accept the extract of that house and make it as your career mantra, definitely it can give you humongous success in the life. So once we will get into the discussion, you will understand it. So okay guys, let's just start our discussion. So the very first alignment is that, let's say for example, if Saturn is going to be giving its additional aspect to your first house. Now how can it happen? The third aspect can happen from the 11th house. So what does it mean? So definitely guys, it just tells about that your life is going to be filled with lot of pressure of duties and responsibilities. And definitely when we talk about the major areas of your life, specifically where your personal involvement, your concerns of your health are involved, over there your patience will be tested. Saturn might definitely make you work so hard in the life that it might have a slight toll on your health as well. That is the only reason it is always advisable to those people who have got Saturn placed in their 11th house, that definitely they have got this capacity to build some very big things in the life. They might be the owner of big businesses as well, but just because the third aspect somehow influences your health, so it also, the toll of that hard work which you go through somehow affects the hardship of that. Staying ignorant to your health might definitely does not work very well with this placement of the planet Saturn. Now guys, if you have to understand that if Saturn is going to be giving its 10th aspect to your first house, then that definitely means that Saturn is going to be placed in your like 4th house. So what does it tell about? So like the way guys, if you remember at the beginning of this video, I mentioned this thing that you have to take it in this way as well, that it hardly matters which planet is your 10th lord. Just because the 10th aspect of the planet Saturn, the aspect of giving you rewards, karmic reward, is looking at your first house. So it means only if you can make the career mantra of yours something connected with the first house, it can actually grant you success as well. So what sort of mantra and traits and virtues which you should learn with this 10th aspect influencing your first house? So definitely guys, it has something to do with staying very grounded, very humble, very realistic, and always like whatsoever your business is, your nature of work is, your line of work is, how it is going to be benefiting the common man. Only if you will have that mindset, how you can work in such a way that you're going to have a mass reach. So only if you will have that mindset, definitely this aspect of the planet Saturn can actually grant you good results. Again guys, 10th aspect of the planet Saturn looking at your first house. So that means in any case, Saturn's placement in the 4th house is generally considered as good for the attainment of power, recognition, having a strong hold in the public. And it hardly matters whatever your lagna is. This 10th aspect is telling about that the mantra which I gave you, only if you will inculcate that, it might be responsible for your career success as well. Now guys, when we talk about the second house, so definitely for planet Saturn to be giving its third aspect, so it has to be placed in your 12th house. So what does it tell about? So definitely guys, all the aspect of the second house, like the way 11th house can actually open up the doors of finance, opportunity, money coming in from multiple channel and multiple avenues and all, but your capacity to reserve it, preserve it, save it, amass it, accumulate it, build something out of it. That we generally see from the second house. So people who have got Saturn placed in their 12th house, this is the one such area where they generally go through a lot of the hardship. Second thing is that because second house also tells about your integrity, your virtues, your capacity to act as a glue and keep the whole family together. And just because Saturn is going to be placed in the 12th house, so many times it has been seen that native generally end up having some issues in the matters of the paternal property related concerns, family dispute and all. And let's say for example with Saturn's placement in the 12th house, if the second lord is afflicted, there are like other malefic planets like Rahu and like Ketu or Mars like being placed in the 8th house in any way influencing the second house, then definitely the capacity of attributes of the second house becoming very difficult for you to attain, to have a control, to have a hold over them, tend to remain very strong. Now guys, when we talk about the 10th aspect of the planet Saturn, so definitely on the second house it can only come from the 5th house. Now what does it tell about? So guys, one thing is for sure that like the way I've been saying this thing in this whole video, that because now your Saturn is going to be placed in the 5th house. So let's say for example, if you will be devoted to some right set of visionary planning, strategic decision making, because guys Saturn is a very slow planet which is very mature, which takes into account a lot of the pros and cons before acting into any situation. 5th house is the house of your speculative investments. 5th house is the house of your the way our mind function. So definitely Saturn makes someone very mature, very realistic. Now the case is different over here. In the original Kalpurush Kundli, 5th house belongs to the planet Sun and Saturn is somehow anti to it, but still only if you can manage to slow down and be focused on the long-term goals, Saturn in the 5th house can also manifest good results. But now generally the career mantra which comes to the people who have got Saturn there in the 5th house giving its 10th aspect to the second house is that definitely how you can preserve things, how you can preserve relations, how you can safeguard things, how you can stick to your virtues, to your commitment, to your words, to your values. All these things only if well inculcated in your career, it can definitely give you good results. So your career mantra is something which is connected with the extract of the second house. This is something in short which I am trying to tell you. Now guys, let's say for example if Saturn is going to be giving its third aspect to your 3rd house, so that means Saturn is going to be placed right over there in your 1st house. So guys, in the original Kalpurush Kundli, 1st house belongs to the Aries. If a planet like Saturn is going to be placed right over there in the 1st house, definitely it's a very heavy karmic energy or burden to deal with. So your whole life somehow tend to remain in the control of the planet Saturn. So that means virtues, integrity, being patient in the face of disappointment, in the face of rejection, delays is something which Saturn wants you to embrace, which Saturn wants you to learn. Now guys, just because the 3rd aspect is going to be going in the matters of the 3rd house, it definitely creates very difficult relationship with your siblings. No matter how much you're working hard to make things work out, still somehow one thing goes wrong, another thing goes wrong, and you find it very difficult to maintain cordial relationship. This could be with your siblings, this could be with your neighbors, this could be with your colleagues, with your co-workers and all. Along with that guys, many times it has been seen that as long as you are working in a safe and secure job, it is fine. But for all those people who have got that entrepreneurial mindset, they are filled with, overwhelmed with too many ideas and all what is needed is to kickstart those ideas at the right time. And again guys, that is the only reason we say this thing, that 3rd house has to be empowered. In today's modern age, all those people who are shuffling with multiple things and all, that is only getting fructified because of a well supported Mercury or the third house. So Saturn's third aspect to the third house somehow creates a lot of difficulties over there. Now this could be a case that because of your own ego, because of the betrayal from the people around you, people not or not being able to find the right set of support from people around you. But yes, the aspect of the third house somehow tend to remain very cumbersome, very difficult for native to deal with. Now guys, let's say for example, if your this house is going to be receiving the 10th aspect, which is only going to be happening if Saturn is going to be placed in your 6th house. So guys, one thing is for sure, because now when we talk about the career mantra, now it hardly matters which planet becomes your 10th lord. It hardly matters. All what matters is that because Saturn is going to be giving its karmically rewarding aspect to your third house. So that in itself means communication, how you express yourself, how you advertise yourself, how you market yourself, how you project yourself. All of that will become very important. Trust me guys, like the way people say this thing, see, understand this thing, that the way it has been written that planets like Saturn and Rahu in the Upachya Bhav are considered as good. Now please do not get confused. Saturn and Rahu in the 6th house, that the definition of good does not mean that you are going to get a free pass. It just means it means good in this context, that you will have that adroitness, that cleverness to deal with the challenges. So in this way, this placement is considered as good. And just because your Saturn is going to be placed in the 6th house, so only if you are making your moves in a right way, in a way that how you socialize with people, how you advertise yourself, how you make the first impression in the people around you. So only if you will inculcate the like I would say that these traits, or embrace it as the career mantra, it will definitely take you to the heights. Specifically guys, the documentation will become very important for you. Like the way for example, some other people might be having or making a very regular bland kind of resume, but when you are submitting your candidature somewhere, your resume, your visiting card, everything has to be immaculate if you want to stand apart. And this is what the career mantra is, which this placement of Saturn and this 10th aspect of the planet Saturn is asking out of you. Now guys, let's say for example, if Saturn is going to be giving its third aspect to your 4th house, so definitely it can only happen if Saturn is going to be placed in the like 2nd house. So the very first thing is that see guys, 2nd house and 4th house somehow controls over our domestic life, our family responsibilities, all of that, what matters a lot to us, what is close to us, what is close to our heart. And because Saturn is placed in one house, 2nd house, the house of your family, and giving its very cumbersome, difficulty causing aspect to another house of your family and all. So definitely guys, a lot many times it has been seen that native somehow find himself alone in the vicissitudes of the life. Like when life is going difficult, where in those times when you want your loved ones, your near and dear ones around you to support you. So in those kind of situation and times, native generally find himself little bit alone in order to deal with these kind of life situations. Second thing is that 4th house is also the house of things which gives us security, stability, housing related concerns, the nourishment which we receive from our mother. So just because the third aspect is going to be looking at your 4th house, all these things tend to remain a big challenge for native to deal with or handle them. Now guys, when we talk about the 10th aspect of the planet Saturn, which will definitely come if it is going to be placed in your 7th house, and from over here it is going to be giving its 10th aspect to your 4th house. So guys, understand this thing. The very first thing, the way I've been saying this thing, that it hardly matters which planet becomes your 10th lord. Just the mere karmically rewarding 10th aspect of the planet Saturn will tell about that only if you will inculcate the extract of that house as your career mantra, it can definitely give you success in the life. So guys, just because the 10th aspect is looking at your 4th house, now 4th house, which is also the house of our control and command over the public, it also tells about the strength of our emotions as well. So only if you want to succeed in the life, So a lot many times guys, see, Saturn's placement individually in the 7th house is considered as very good. In the original Kal Purush Kundli, this is the house which carries the energy of the Libra, where Saturn attains exaltation. So all what Saturn demands out of you, or only if you will inculcate these traits of staying very stern in the matters of relationship, in the matters of business dealing and all, like it will not be an exaggeration to say this thing, that even if you will make yourself little bit cold hearted when it comes down to abiding by the laws, virtues, discipline and enforcing any rules and regulation, then only. So this has to be your kind of your mantra in order to succeed in the life. So yes guys, and we say this thing that always prioritize those decisions, rather than like the way there are like certain placements where we say this thing that advertise yourself, stay more flamboyant, stay more like kind of more outwardly. But this is a kind of a placement which actually demands you to be giving more attention to the groundedness, staying more humble, working more on the ground level. And like the way I mentioned this thing, that always prioritize and always have a strong grip and control over your emotions and over your feelings. And this is one such kind of aspect which definitely give you a very upper edge or command or control over the masses, over the collective consciousness as well. Now guys, let's say for example Saturn is going to be aspecting your 5th house with its 3rd aspect. So that can only happen if Saturn is going to be placed in your 3rd house. So guys, understand this thing, 5th house, which is the house of our mind, the way our mind function. This is also the house of our children. This is also the house which represents somehow all those kind of recreational activities which actually makes us feel relaxed. So just because Saturn is going to be giving its aspect to your 5th house, so the attributes of the 5th house tend to remain a big challenge for native to surpass. Like in lot many times it has been seen that in the formative education academic years of the native, this a lot many times create lot many breaks. Like the way for example you wanted to get into that prestigious college, and at the last minute in the last semester your grades somehow fell and you were not able to make it to that college of your choice. So definitely pertaining to the matters of the 5th house, this could be a lot many times it has been seen that if individually the 5th lord is also afflicted, native somehow tend to have some initial heart breakup at a very advanced stage in his love life. So this could be the probable indicative results with the 3rd aspect of the planet Saturn. But the good part is that all these hardship somehow makes native very makes him very strong, like strong as a steel, very grants him fortitude and strong sort of determination in order to withstand any of the hardship challenges which he has to deal with in the latter half of his life. Along with that guys, now how like Saturn is going to be influencing the matters of this house, if it is going to be giving its 10th aspect to your 5th house. Now definitely it can only happen if Saturn is going to be placed in your 8th house. So now with this kind of karmically rewarding 10th aspect of the planet Saturn falling on your 5th house, what sort of traits and virtues you can inculcate as a form of your career mantra? So definitely guys, this is one such sort of placement which generally recommend native like all the attributes of the 5th house, which has to do with the originality, which has to do with the creativity, which has to do with the personal magnetism. So this is what Saturn actually asks you to do. It hardly matters what planet is your 10th lord, in which condition it is placed. All what matters is that if you actually want to do something good in your career front, so try to think about something or try to think in the lines which actually makes you very unique, which actually gives you like the only way you can have that personal magnetism is that the way you give attention towards your presentability. So presentability becomes very important, and in lot many times taking chances, speculating with your chances somehow rewards the native. Again guys, we all know this thing that 5th house is like it is 8th from the 10th house, so all the transformation we see from the 5th house, and Saturn individually is going to be placed in the 8th house. So again it's a very good sign. 8th house is the house of some unpredictable results, sudden results. So this is what Saturn demands you to take the chances, work on your personal magnetism, be original, be innovative, and only if you will inculcate these virtues in your career front, it can actually grant you good results. Now guys, let's say for example if Saturn is going to be giving its 3rd aspect to your sixth house. Now it can only happen if Saturn is going to be placed in the fourth house. So what does it tell about? So definitely guys, this is one such combination which just tells about that. First of all, to begin with, this third aspect somehow acts as a blessing in disguise, that definitely it will make you work very hard. This aspect of the planet Saturn is very good in taming or dealing with enemies or dealing with any sort of competitive situation. But when we talk about the living signification, this could be your experiences on the account of the pets, your experiences on the account of the maternal uncles or with your co-workers and all. A lot many times I've seen like people who generally adopt a pet in order to find themselves rejuvenate, relaxed, but somehow pet ends up getting a disease or some sort of problem, and majority of their compassion and their time and their energies only get spent in order to take care of that sick pet and all. So there's a lot of way by which you can interpret. I will still stick to the same thing, that pertaining to the living signification, it might create hurdle challenges to have everything in control. But when we talk about the non-living signification of the sixth house, being very hard on yourself to be more disciplined and to deal with challenges, work hard in order to stand a better chance from your competitors and all. This is a good, in a way, a blessing in disguise for you. Now guys, when we talk about how Saturn is going to be influencing the attributes of your career, if it is going to be giving its 10th aspect to your 6th house. So definitely guys, it can only happen if Saturn is going to be placed in your 9th house. So guys, one thing is for sure that the karmically rewarding aspect of the planet Saturn is now influencing your 6th house of hardship, of your daily work life, of your work style, of your work ethics. So generally guys, it has been seen good in this way, that for all those people who end up rising the ladder in their career front for the attainment of any authoritative position, a leadership position and all, like people who become CEO and all, people who become kind of a very big motivational coach, business leaders and all. So generally, for someone to be a good role model, specifically succeeding in any of those fields where the competition is very high, or like the multitasking is involved, like lot of challenges and threat on daily basis is involved. So this is one such karmically rewarding aspect of the planet Saturn, which definitely blesses lot many people. And again guys, like the way I've been saying this thing, that just because through this discussion we are trying to understand that irrespective of the fact that which planet has become your 10th lord, if only you will inculcate these virtues in your, or you will embrace them as your career mantra, it can definitely give you success. So the career mantra for you with this aspect of the planet Saturn influencing your 6th house is that definitely never ever kind of overlook the importance of the enforcement of authority. Like you are not supposed to be fragile or soft-hearted when it comes to taking some harsh or hard decision, because people might not like you in short term, but in long term you will be the one who will be given, like you will be seen as an inspiration. People will be giving your example to your successors, just because the way you have worked in that sort of challenging and pressurizing situation. So yes guys, so this is what the career mantra is for those people who are going to have Saturn influencing their 6th house with its 10th aspect, which is considered as very good. Now guys, when we talk about Saturn influencing your 7th house with its 3rd aspect, now this can only happen when Saturn is going to be placed in your 5th house. So definitely guys, see, we can look at it in this way, that the matters of the 7th house will definitely be a matter of concern for the native, that for the attainment of anything connected with the 7th house, which could be marriage, which could be business partnership, which could be maintaining that image in the eyes of the public and all. So in all these areas, native might have to work very hard. Native might have to prove himself in order to extract the best results out of the attributes of the 7th house. Now guys, when we talk about the the 10th aspect of the planet Saturn. So definitely guys, that will only be happening if Saturn is going to be placed in your 10th house. So guys, understand this thing in this way, that over here we are more concerned about that just because the karmically rewarding aspect of the planet Saturn is influencing your 7th house. So that means it hardly matters which planet becomes your 10th lord. All what we are trying to understand, that the traits and skill set which you need to inculcate or embrace as your career mantra in order to succeed in the life, because individually Saturn is the significator of profession for all of us. So this aspect just generally tells about that how you bond well with the people become very important. Rather than going solo, how you partner and collaborate with the like-minded people, this sort of mindset will definitely help you attain your goal or make or carve a niche for yourself in your public life.